J. Cole said something recently as a surprise guest on 50 Cent's Final Lap tour that got everyone debating. What did he say? Roll the clip.
Can I say this before I walk off the stage? If y'all don't make some noise for one of the greatest niggas to ever do this shit, 50 motherfucking Cent, Curtis Jackson. Get Rich or Die Tryin', the best album of all time. I don't give a fuck what you talking about, nigga. It's Get Rich or Die Tryin' at #1, and it's Thriller at #2, and I love Michael Jackson, but I promise y'all that Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, we love you, my nigga, for real. New York City, good night.
To a lot of people's surprise, J. Cole ranked 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin' as the greatest album of all time, period, no matter what genre. He rated it above Michael Jackson's Thriller. As we know, Michael Jackson's Thriller has done insane numbers, broken insane records. It is currently the highest selling album of all time. It's 34 times platinum just in the United States and over 100 million records sold just on that album alone worldwide, which nobody has ever topped. But here's why I agree with J. Cole. If you guys haven't seen my documentary, it's called How 50 Cent Got Rich and Nearly Died Tryin'. I ended up interviewing a lot of people that worked on 50 Cent's album, from the co-executive producer Shaw Money XL to the producers like Red Spider, Dirty Swift, who produced 21 Questions, Rockwilder, who produced Like My Style, and engineers on the album, even graphic designers. I talked to these people because I wanted to know the true story of 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Tryin'. And take the music aside, just the story of Get Rich or Die Tryin' is one of the most unique stories that is never going to be replicated in music or in anything in life ever. Nobody could have written a better script than this. And the story is that 50 Cent got shot 9 times. Yes, we know that. But here's the huge but. It's that he was facing death. He was facing a big gangsta drug dealer by the name of Supreme, wanting to get him killed. Mind you, you get shot 9 times, you have no money, and instead of hiding and being scared of the situation that you're in, you decide to release your first song called Fuck You and just don't care about anything coming your way. Thus the title, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. And that story in itself is the greatest story in music, I think, period. If you do not agree, you do not know the story that well to disagree. So that's why I'm saying, watch the documentary. Here's one clip from the documentary.
I worked with 50. You had to know the secret handshake. Yeah. And so, in those G-Unit sessions, if you didn't know the secret handshake, you wasn't getting in. So like, everybody right now that got the nice, relaxed 50 Cent and all that shit, that's cool, but it was a whole different tone, you know, back in 2000, you know, in February with that project. You know, everybody had to be in a bulletproof armored car, you know, and if you left the squad, right, then that's on you. You see what I'm saying? It was wartime.
I remember being in the studio one time with him. This girl's like, where's my pocketbook? Where's my pocketbook? So everybody started looking at Fifth and us. So Fifth knew that immediately he had to figure it out. So he started looking all over the place. And eventually he found the pocketbook in the bathroom behind the toilet stool, and his homie took everything out but put the pocketbook there. So he immediately got to his homie, started hitting him. Yo, he stripped this nigga in the studio in front of all of us. This nigga ran out the building, Hit Factory, damn near in boxes. After 50 hit him, this dude had to get on the train, leave and shit. And Fifth wanted to let everybody know it's not me, but I won't allow that. Even if it came from me, he wouldn't allow that.
And that's just one clip from this documentary to tell the story of Get Rich or Die Tryin'. On top of that, 50 Cent broke insane records, like In the Club being the most listened to radio song in radio history with 170.2 million listeners at once. And of course, as we know nowadays, In the Club gets played every single day when it's somebody's birthday. On top of that, we have classics like 21 Questions, Many Men, that a lot of people play when they're going against life. It's like a war anthem for people, and so on and so forth. Even in the documentary, one of the producers of Bloodhound reveals that a lot of the songs on the album could have been singles, damn near the whole album. Mind you, this album is 19 tracks along with the bonus cuts. So 19 singles could have potentially been hits on this album. In fact, they were debating back and forth on if I Can't or In the Club should be the first single. That just goes to show you how much of great music was on this album, and the stories behind a lot of these tracks is real life stories of life and death That's what makes this album, to me, the greatest hip-hop album, the greatest period album of all time. And if you disagree, you do not know the story that well to disagree. The story is something that can never be written again in history, period. This guy went up against everything in life. All the stars aligned perfectly for this guy to succeed, and he still has the largest selling debut album of all time. Nobody's broken that record yet. Now, what do I mean by that? Debut album is your first album ever. He has the first week sales of 872,000 copies, which has never been broken. Nobody's topped that. Matter of fact, he did that in 5 days because the album leaked. Had he had a full week of sales like most artists do, he would have done 1 million copies easily. And that's just brief little facts. To me, it's the greatest album, period. I've never heard of a better album. Every track, top to bottom, is classic. Until this day, it still impacts. It's impacted j.cole, impacted Kendrick Lamar, impacted lots of artists that you hear to this day. Drake even said when he heard 50 Cent with 21 Questions, it gave him a lot of motivation to do singing as well. And I'm just touching the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this album. There's so much stuff to this album that makes it so great, not only from the music, but just the story attached to it. And the title, man, Get Rich or Die Tryin', album cover is iconic, and the way that was made was even iconic as well. But let me know what you guys think. What is your greatest album of all time? Drop it in the comments below. And do you think Get Rich or Die Tryin' is in the top 10 of all time, of all genres, not just hip hop? Let me know in the comments below.